Sometimes, the most powerful moments aren't planned. They don't come from grand speeches, dramatic performances, or carefully scripted events. They come quietly, through a simple gesture, a thoughtful gift, or a shared look that says more than words ever could. And this was one of those moments, the moment that reminded everyone why BTS is more than just a group, why their bond goes deeper than music, and why even the smallest actions can leave a lasting impact. This is the story of how one unexpected gift from Jungkook created an emotional turning point and left Taehyung visibly shaken. At first, nothing about the moment felt unusual. The atmosphere was familiar, relaxed, comfortable. This wasn't a massive stage or a high-pressure performance. It was one of those quieter BTS moments, the kind fans treasure because they feel real. The members were together, talking, laughing, sharing stories. The kind of interaction that feels less like idols and more like close friends who have spent years growing up side by side. Taehyung looked calm, smiling, engaged. Jungkook, too, appeared relaxed, but attentive in that subtle way fans know well. The way he listens carefully, the way he notices details others might miss, and one watching could have predicted what would happen next. When Jungkook finally presented the gift, there was no dramatic build-up, announcement, spotlight moment, just a quiet handover. And yet, the energy shifted almost instantly. Taehyung's expression changed the moment he realized what was happening. His smile slowed, his eyes lingered. It wasn't about the object itself. It never is with moments like these. It was about what the gift represented. Time, thought, understanding. Jungkook hadn't chosen something flashy or attention-grabbing. He chose something meaningful, something personal, and Taehyung knew it. Taehyung didn't say much at first. He paused, and in that pause, everything became clear. His shoulders stiffened slightly. His gaze dropped for just a second longer than usual. Fans noticed it immediately, because Taehyung is expressive, but he's also someone who often keeps his deeper emotions guarded. This time, it was different. You could see him trying to stay composed, trying to keep the moment light. But emotion doesn't always wait for permission, and Jungkook noticed. Jungkook didn't rush him. He didn't joke it away or try to fill the silence. Instead, he stayed still, present, respectful. That's something people often overlook about Jungkook. Behind the energy, the talent, the confidence, there's a deep sensitivity, a quiet emotional intelligence shaped by years of growing up alongside the same people. He understood what that gift meant to Taehyung, and he gave him space to feel it. BTS has shared countless emotional moments over the years: award speeches, farewell stages, anniversaries, military send-offs. But this one stood out because it wasn't public-facing. It wasn't for applause. It was personal. There were no expectations attached, and pressure to perform emotion. And that's exactly why it resonated. Fans weren't watching idols react. They were witnessing a genuine human exchange. To understand why this moment hits so hard, you have to understand the journey behind it. Taehyung and Jungkook didn't just meet as co-workers. They trained together, struggled together, grew up under the same intense spotlight. They experienced success most people can't imagine. At an age when most are still figuring out who they are, they've shared exhaustion, doubt, joy, and triumph. When Jungkook gave that gift, it wasn't just from one member to another. It was from someone who knew exactly what Taehyung had carried, even when he didn't say it out loud. Taehyung is often seen as playful, artistic, and charismatic, but fans also know there's depth beneath that image. He feels deeply. He reflects quietly. He processes emotion in his own time. That's why his reaction mattered. Because Taehyung doesn't show vulnerability unless he feels safe, and in that moment, surrounded by his members, especially Jungkook, he was safe. You could tell the other members noticed the shift. They didn't interrupt. They didn't distract. They let the moment exist. That kind of silence doesn't happen accidentally. It comes from mutual understanding, the kind that only forms after years of shared experiences. BTS didn't need words to recognize what was happening. They've learned to read each other without them. For fans watching, it was impossible not to feel something, not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. There was no exaggeration, and forced emotion, just a quiet acknowledgement of how much the members mean to each other. Moments like this remind fans why BTS feels different, why their bond doesn't feel manufactured, why even after years of global fame, they still move people, not through spectacle, but sincerity. In an industry driven by trends, numbers, and constant content, this moment stood still. It reminded everyone that success doesn't erase humanity, that behind the achievements are people who still feel deeply, people who still need reassurance, connection, recognition. Jungkook's gift wasn't about making a statement, it was about saying, I see you. And sometimes that's everything. Eventually, Taehyung gathered himself. He smiled again, but it wasn't the same smile from before. It was softer, more grounded. You could tell he was grateful, not just for the gift, but for the thought behind it, and in typical Taehyung fashion, he didn't over-explain. He didn't need to. The emotion had already spoken. Not all BTS moments go viral because they're loud. Some go viral because they're quiet. Because they remind people of something real, something human. This was one of those moments fans will revisit years from now, not to analyze, not to speculate, but to remember how it felt. Jungkook didn't know how the moment would land, and that's what made it meaningful. He gave without expectation, and Taehyung received it with honesty. That exchange, simple, genuine, unfiltered, is rare, and that's why it mattered. BTS has always emphasized connection, not just with fans, but with each other. This moment reinforced that, even after everything they've achieved, they still show up for one another in quiet ways. They still notice, they still care, and that's what continues to set them apart. Dramatic music was needed, and captions could fully capture it, because some moments are felt, not explained. And this was one of them. In the end, Jungkook's gift didn't just surprise Taehyung, it reminded everyone watching why BTS feels like family, why their journey continues to resonate, and why sometimes the smallest moments leave the biggest impact, because when something is genuine, it changes everything. Thank you for watching. If this moment touched you too, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. We'll see you in the next video. Purple Heart.